Hello, dear Soul Cats fans. Welcome to this Soul Cats online reading. So sorry that I couldn't make it last Saturday. I feel so much better this week. And now we do the online reading now. So welcome everyone. Just let me know that you can hear me and that you can see me in the comments. That would be great. So, okay, thank you very much. Technology seems to work. So then let's get right into it. So I will put my glasses on. And the first chapter I'm going to read for you is called Flix, the dry food junkie. Flix came to us being a dry food junkie. There is no other way to describe it. Wet food was never his thing. But as soon as we put some pieces of dry food in his activity feeder, he became very excited. He trotted up to it and got busy locating and eating his food, visibly happy. Flix also came to us carrying heavy baggage attached to his soul. He threw up quite often. We tried to find a pattern. One pattern had to do with cat mom's absence. He didn't like that at all. Another pattern included eating too quickly, which at first happened a lot with his beloved dry food. A third pattern occurred when he shed his fur, which was easily treatable. Both cats were used to me working at home and not seeing Michael for Thursday evening and then over the weekend. Only once in a while do I have to go on a business trip, not more than 20% of my time. That allowed us all to get comfortable and find a mutual routine. But I had to travel to the United States for 4 days, and for 2 of those days, we were able to have our lady neighbor be cat sitter, checking up on them twice a day. Flix threw up right away on the first day, and then he recovered from the shock. His latest blood tests, measured only a few weeks before he joined us, were very good. No signs at all of hidden inflammation in his body. We tried almost the entire first year to change his food habits. We ditched the dry food and used high-quality wet food instead. A few pieces of dry food were used only as treats, and he loved them twice as much when he got them. It took us about 8 months to complete the process. I can only tell everyone to make the effort and take the time to switch dry food junkies to high quality wet food. Since Flix preferred food with sauce, I looked for high quality organic food in its own juice without any grain, which he found very tasty. Slowly, very slowly, in very small portions, I mixed the new food under the old food. At the animal shelter, he had received the same food as Max. And at the same time, I gradually reduced the amount of dry food he had in his activity feeder. To adjust this very slowly is the most important step, and to relax the change a bit when it seems he balks at it, and stabilize the status quo before continuing. Cats are habitual eaters. They will first reject everything they don't know from an early age. It is not at all true that cats know instinctively what is good for them. This might certainly be different with regard to wild cats, but not with domesticated cats. They have no choice. What humans give to them first after the kittens drank their mother's milk is to them what mother has approved of and will be accepted and eaten. Otherwise, cats would surely always opt for mice. It was easier getting his vomiting under control when it was due to shedding his fur and spitting out these fur balls with the food. This improved greatly with the help of malt paste and egg lecithin powder. Slowly, we developed a routine to brush him. He wasn't used to that, but accepted it more and more. We had his vomiting almost under control, but toward the end of the first year, it became worse again. So we decided to have him thoroughly examined in the same veterinary clinic by Max Vet. We had just stabilized Max after his first dental surgery. We used a quarterly checkup date from Max CKD, also to have Flix examined thoroughly. It turned out that his kidney tests were okay, some values had only risen a little, but his inflammation levels had increased and the inflammation of his intestinal wall already showed in the blood analysis. The vet saw this as the main problem for his vomiting. It manifested itself either as diarrhea out the back or vomiting out the front. Flix got everything out through his mouth. He didn't have any diarrhea. Due to the inflammation, his intestinal wall was already very thick. By introducing high-quality food, we're moving in the right direction. More about that in the chapter, Another Visit with the Vet. Now the next chapter I'm going to read for you is called Sunny Places and Raspberry Cats. A lofty apartment on the 4th and 5th floor with a loggia and balcony is bright and sunny. Enough sunshine for 2 cats hungry for sunshine, or so one would think. But this was apparently not the case. The sun shone in the morning on the loggia. During spring and summer, when the weather was nice, I opened a door for them in the morning so they could get out and lie down for a sun bath. As I said, there was plenty of room for both of them. But the tomcat pecking order came into play here. It happened again and again that Max drove Flix away from Flix's sunny spot to lie down exactly there instead. Flix then, most of the time, just took off rather than perturbed. Only later he learned to put his paw down and looked for another spot. I never really found out what went on between the two of them, because there was also moments when they would be lying in the sun, all relaxed and not far away from each other. From noon and through the afternoon, the sun had moved to the other side of the building onto the balcony, so locations had to be switched. Max loved to simply walk around on the balcony, inspect all flower pots, and finally lie down in the sun. During the first summer, Flix developed into what I call a raspberry cat. He ate almost all the raspberries that we had been growing. I caught him more than once taking his time inspecting the raspberries, stretching, and then finally reaching and eating them. I asked myself for a long time what he was lacking that he acquired a liking for raspberries. It must have been the potassium. Later, when his blood screening showed a very low potassium level, he received dietary supplements to prevent potential damage to his heart. After the first summer, he never again was interested in our raspberries. The potassium obviously found a different way into his body. So the next chapter I'm going to read for you is called At the Table with Max. No one could possibly miss that Max was an extraordinarily wise cat, and he acted that way too. Different. He wanted to participate in eating at the table, his way. During the first few months, he used to jump in my lap and kept me company when I was eating. When Michael joined us on the weekend, he took the opportunity and did the same with his cat dad. Max really enjoyed these moments. One could see how it just soaked up all the love. In the summer, when we usually ate outside, he was mostly with us too. It went without saying that he climbed onto his lawn chair on the balcony when I was sitting there in the evenings. He resided at the table like a king and watched his catman, just being Sir Max, and we conversed. In the summertime, the lawn chair increasingly became his relaxation and retreating spot. With a light breeze and a comfortable chair, his recovery wasn't going to be a problem at all. He looked quite natural on his throne. My dear friend Fiona once described him as like an emperor. He acted as if he had sat there forever, ruling the world from the balcony on the 4th floor. When we both wanted to sit out there on the weekends, Max was often quicker than Michael and was already occupying his seat. The cat dad also wanted to sit somewhere. So, what did the world's best cat dad do? Simply said, "Enjoy your life, Max," pulled up a third lawn chair, and then Max on his chair was pushed in the middle between us. Sometimes Max would also inspect the food. Since everything except cat food is vegan in our house, we often smiled when Max eyed our food and even sniffed it once in a while. In most cases, he wasn't interested in continuing these tasting sessions. How fortunate for all participants. However, he put on a surprised look the first time he saw a green smoothie. Unbelievable what crazy stuff humans ingest, he seemed to think, and then returned to enjoying his morning sunbath. Whenever he had surgery and needed to recuperate, one of his favorite spots was the balcony and his lawn chair. He would sit there for hours in the afternoon, watch the sun move, and just relax. He seemed to be far, far away in his cat world. When Max declared the balcony to be secure, Flix also felt safe and came out with him. But Flix was always looking for a spot close to the wall of the house, not anywhere near the railing. He felt much safer on the loggia, especially without Max. So then let's go to the next chapter I selected for today, which is called Hello Max Conversations with Departed Animals. Now comes a chapter where you might shake your head and think, how is that supposed to work? I can only say it works. And I had the privilege of learning it too. And yes, I also use it for my own and other animals. As with everything, the truth is that practice makes perfect. As already described in the chapter from an energetic viewpoint, everything is energy and everything is connected to everything else. Max's soul has moved on. He just left his body behind. In my third seminar on animal communication in May, we covered the topics of communicating with departed animals and communication with missing animals. The principle is the same. First, you bring yourself into a relaxed state, bring the brain waves into a calm state, and make contact through the eyes of the animal and establish a heart connection. In my group, during the exercise, 3 people spoke to Max, and Sylvia did as well. What we all received from Max has given a well-rounded picture. Max has a job in Rainbow Land. He takes care of the newcomers. He said that there are many arrivals that never had it nearly as good as he did. His time with us was the best of his life, even when he was sick, because he received so much love. He found it wonderful that he could leave in his own way. He said his soul had loosened like a rubber band and then he just flew away. That was exactly the feeling he had imagined and wished for. Just fly away when the time comes. He was happy where he was now. I was deeply touched. My heart was overflowing with love for my Max, and my eyes were full of tears. He said that he would continue to accompany us because his task was not yet completed, and he would send someone to us when it was the right timing. I also met 2 great women in the third course, Kristen and Kirsten. Since then, we've always helped each other with our animals and with animals of clients. We've also supported each other on our individual path. I also had some wonderful conversations with Max. In many situations when animals were getting ready to go to Rainbow Land, Max was always there. It became his job to take care of the newcomers, especially animals Kristen and I worked with. Max was often there when the animal souls crossed the rainbow bridge. The following one is a particularly good conversation that shows Max's wisdom and the role he took with me. It was in 2019. I found a senior red cat on the Instagram account of the Mainz Animal Shelter. He moved me very much, and I seriously considered adopting him. Max saw it like this. Max thinks I'm reacting to the pattern red cat, and I should get rid of it first. In addition, the current timing would not be good because of the newly achieved level of harmony with Flix and Howie. Howie came to us in mid-2017. You will find out how in the next chapters. And also because of Howie's aches and pains, he doesn't think they were easy to handle, and he said, stay tuned, absolutely. You can't do everything at the same time, he said. He also reminded me of the Soul Cat's book, very seriously. Otherwise, he's very satisfied with me, will continue to accompany me on my path. I should learn to accept and implement everything that I experience, bit by bit. My teacher, Joby, would think highly of me. If he was demanding, it would be because he wanted to draw something out of me. I told Max something else. My dear friend Fiona Oakes in England lost Teddy Freddy today, a very old horse that already had 2 strokes. When his horse friend William left a few weeks ago, it quickly became clear that Teddy Freddy would follow soon. Can you check on Teddy Freddy, please? Sure, it's my job here, he said proudly. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, dear Max. Great, Max knows and will see Teddy Freddy. And that's how he did it. And there is one more chapter I'm going to read for you today. It's called The Universe Arranged Everything Perfectly. On July 19th, we had a checkup at the veterinary clinic because of Flix's blood pressure and his kidney test levels. To be precise, we had moved the date from July 21st to July 19th because I really wanted to have a neurology appointment for Flix as well. You remember that Flix falls worried me, and I really wanted to have this checked neurologically. I had the sneaking feeling that the same polyp trauma was going to play out in his other ear. We both went with him to the appointment in the morning. Flix was energetically prepared and informed via animal communication that today was about his blood pressure and blood test and the neurology appointment. We came into the cat waiting room and sat down with Flix. And then a cat meowed, heartbreaking, like an arrow through the heart, and meowed again. Actually, incessantly. The humans of the meowing cat were from the Hana Animal Shelter. The tomcat probably had some issues with the intestines and pancreas. He just kept meowing. I got into a conversation with a lady and we exchanged email addresses. I assured her that I would send her a document on alternative therapies for pancreatic disease. And then it was our turn, but the meowing never got out of my head, and certainly not out of my heart. Howie was the name of the meowing cat. Flix's blood pressure was good considering his circumstances. It was measured 3 times to get the correct number. You measure blood pressure until it stops falling. In this case, it took 3 measurements. In other cases, it can require more. Our vet, herself a cardiologist, attached great importance to ensuring that it was done correctly. Otherwise, cats will be given medication that they do not need. Flix's blood pressure was well regulated. His medication was kept at the same dose. Little Flix usually made himself comfortable on her lap for these procedures, humming, of course. Then we moved to another cat consulting room and waited for the neurologist. As always, with such appointments, I sent videos in advance to the vet so that he had a chance to see what I had described. After reviewing the videos and doing a general urological examination, the urologist was satisfied with our Flix. Yes, he thought that one fall indicated a seizure event. Nevertheless, he would not recommend any further diagnosis, especially if it did not occur frequently, since his general condition was really good and he had mastered the situation very well for his 17 years. Then we left the consulting room and passed by Howie and his humans again. Howie continued to meow. Hit me right in the heart every time. We drove home with Flix. He let himself be pampered and indulged in a well-deserved rest. I couldn't get Howie out of my head. My research on the website of the Hana Animal Shelter revealed wonderful pictures of a small, gentle tomcat, 16 years old, who ended up in the animal shelter because of the death of his human caretaker. He had been there for a few months, alone and grieving. He wanted a family so badly. Howie, it's him. He is the one Max wanted to send us when the time came. A gentle soul, a soul that wouldn't take advantage of Flick's situation. That was his requirement for a feline buddy. All these thoughts shot through my head. I called the lady at the animal shelter, and she was very happy that I not only wanted to help her with Howie, but that we were actually interested in adopting him. We quickly made an appointment for the following Saturday so that we could get to know him, and of course, he could get to know us too. I immediately obtained her consent that we could talk to Howie before the visit on Sunday. Okay, who else had to be asked? Max and Flix, of course. I got in touch with Max. He was suddenly there, very present when I was lying on the sofa. After some general banter, I asked him if he had sent us Howie. Yes, Howie desperately needs a family, he said. A wounded soul with a few physical ailments. He needs love, care, and a home where he is understood and accepted. He would be just the right friend for Flix, Max said. Howie was wise, gentle, by no means an alpha cat like himself. He would just let Flix be Flix, so everything is just right. What would Flix say about that? I explained everything to him. How he was, what kind of soul he was, and what kind of problems he would bring with him. And that he was Flix's age. Flix was pretty positive about the prospect. He said if Howie were really like I said, it should work out fine. Also Flix also said if someone needs help, then we help. Thank you, my dear Flix. It was now time to get in touch with Howie as well. How nice that Christine helped me so graciously. She also got in touch with him and Flix. Howie is very happy that we would come. He wished so much that he could meet loving humans and just be himself. Yes, he would like to join us, but the feeling came immediately. This is perfect for Flix. Such a wonderful, gentle, and straightforward tomcat. The way he looks at you reminds me of my Paulino, Christine said. He's sad, he says, and he was pleasantly surprised to get a new buddy. He's so grateful. He really is a good fit for you. Take him home, take him to you. The following Saturday, we visited Howie in Hana. We spent an hour with him in his cat dwelling. He was very open and was happy that we visited him. After a few minutes, I was already able to caress him in his cat cave. He was very excited and certainly wanted to do his best. He came out of his cave and was unmistakably proud that he had visitors. He immediately snuggled up to Michael and then sat down in the center of his cat dwelling and put down a little pile that actually belonged in the litter box. It was quite funny. How he moved in with us the following Monday. Thank you very much for spending the last 25 minutes with me and to listening to some chapters of my book Soul Cat. If you haven't had a chance to read it, you may want to enjoy to read Soul Cats as an ebook, as a paper back, or also as an audiobook. You get it everywhere on Amazon.com or on other Amazon pages. You can also check out my website at soul-cats.com, so soulcats.com with a dash in the middle. You can find out more about my soul cats, about myself, and also about my services around energy clearing. I hope to see you soon. And stay tuned. Stay tuned here on the Soul Cats Facebook page. I will announce a special session in the near future where we can focus on the grieving part and on animal communication with departed animals. So stay tuned. This will come up soon. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye and see you soon.